Well, we are going to be talking about how car dealerships are fixing the car market and why you should stop playing this game as a consumer and stop overpaying for vehicles. But before we get in this video, as always, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. First off, you need to understand that dealers have a lot of power over pricing within the car market, more than people actually think about. So first off, every single new vehicle in the US outside of Tesla, Rivian, and Lucid and other EV startups are sold through dealerships. There isn't direct to consumer sales on a large scale, again, outside of those manufacturers here in the US. So that means that new car pricing as a general rule is determined by what dealerships think that those new cars should be sold for. And then when you move over into the used car market, well, yes, there are a lot of private sales in the used car market, but the majority of used cars are again sold via dealerships. And obviously you have vehicles that are sold at auction, but here's the deal. Most of those vehicles sold at auction are sold from one dealer to another. They're not sold from dealer to consumer or consumer to consumer. It's usually dealer to dealer. And so with dealers being the main entity that is transacting upon vehicles, that puts them in a situation where they have a lot of power to determine what those vehicles should sell for. And this is why I say that car dealers are fixing the car market or fixing car market prices, because of all this power that they have over the car market. And if you don't believe me, look at what we are seeing right now with the car market. Wholesale values have declined by over 20% over the course of the 2022 sales year. Retail values, however, haven't declined by that much. They've declined by 5, maybe 10%, depending on the region and depending on the vehicle. If we were in a market that wasn't manipulated at all, then we would see those retail values decline at the same rate that we saw the wholesale values decline. And frankly, we would actually see the wholesale values decline at an even faster rate than what we have seen, because the only reason that the wholesale values are still at the place that they're at is because those retail values have been coming down so slowly, because there are a lot of parties that are very interested in those retail values staying up, that are making sure that they stay up. And so again, I feel like the evidence is crystal clear. So at this point, you might be wondering, what are the tactics that dealers use to quote unquote fix the market? Well, when it comes to used vehicles, dealers will just refuse to sell them at market value. And I know this might sound crazy because you think that a dealer would just want to get rid of a vehicle, especially if they, maybe overpaid for that vehicle. But that's not always the case, because, well, dealers are businesses that are all about just making money. Well, that's pretty much what every business is about. And so that means that they will basically just keep their car at a certain price and arbitrarily kind of hold up the retail price on that vehicle, because they don't want to sell it at what the actual market value should be based on wholesale values. And again, this is exactly what we've been seeing over the last couple of years. And so that's the first thing that every single dealer pretty much across the board, whether it's a new car dealer or a used car dealer, will do to kind of, keep these values up. And if you don't know, all of this information is so readily available for dealers in terms of vehicle values. They can see wholesale values on vehicles. They can see retail values on vehicles. Like, they can see what vehicles have been selling for at auction recently. They can also see what those vehicles have, sold for, to retail customers as well, like the amounts. And so they know exactly where they should be, but that doesn't always mean that they're going to put a vehicle at a sales price of where it should be, because again, they're always going to want to put themselves in the most favorable position possible. And so that's kind of the first little bit of quote unquote market manipulation, but it's actually not even the most diabolical. Well, the super diabolical thing that dealers participate in has to do with new car dealers, actually. So this doesn't pertain to every single new car dealer, because some new car dealers decide to not participate in this particular practice, but a lot of new car dealers do. And what this is communicating with each other to quote unquote fix the prices on new cars. So what you will see is new car dealers within a certain sales region will be communicating with each other to determine what they should sell particular vehicles for. Now, obviously, if you have a regular competitive business environment, this is something that doesn't happen, because, well, what happens is two businesses have product, and when it comes to cars, they happen to be the exact same product because all these dealers get the same cars from the same manufacturer. And so the only thing that's going to attract customers from one business to the other is if the product is cheaper at one business compared to the other. And so you'd think that dealers would just be continuing to lower their prices more and more so that they can get customers from their competitors. But obviously dealers don't want to play that game, because that means that they have to play this game where they're continuing to lose money. So instead, they basically just buddy up with each other and they say, okay, this is what we're going to sell this vehicle for. This is what we're going to sell this vehicle for. And it actually goes a step further, because what the dealers will literally say to basically push other dealers into complying is, if you want to get rid of this vehicle for this amount of money, we will pay that. Like, I have seen the papers where dealers will basically say, okay, we'll pay over MSRP for this vehicle, we'll pay over MSRP for this vehicle, we'll pay, MSRP for this vehicle, we'll pay this amount over invoice on this vehicle. So the dealers are literally offering to buy the other dealer's inventory for a profit for the first dealer, to then push that first dealer to instead just mark up their inventory to their customers, so that, again, all the dealers have the same amount of market adjustment on the vehicle, and so that all the dealers have, again, ultimately the same price on the vehicle as well. And so this is why, if you look at particular sales regions, you'll notice that all of the market adjustments, if there are market adjustments, happen to be the same. And if they have discounts, you notice that all the discounts happen to be the same. Coincidence? Not really. So at this point, people are going to be waving a red flag and going, Ben, this is illegal and these dealers need to be put in jail. And here's the deal. It depends on the state, because some states have a lot of laws that protect dealers, some states do not. And so within certain states, because of how the laws are outlined, dealers can get away with this and it's completely fine. Whereas in the states where, it's not so fine, well, the dealers are going to do what dealers are great at, and that is, basically find loopholes around these laws. Or frankly, they're just going to do these dealings in quiet. Like, they're not going to be, messaging through company emails or anything like that. It's going to be like, hey, I happen to be friends with the, manager at this particular dealership. I think I'm going to, on my day off, go out and go golfing with him. And then, right, one of those things where they just go do something that's not for business, but ultimately it is for business. And then they can kind of talk about, hey, oh, that new Ford Maverick, yeah, I think that's a $15,000 over MSRP truck. Don't you agree? Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, let's make sure that, yeah, that sounds good. Right? It sometimes can be like, it sounds stupid, but it sometimes can be that simple. So how can you practically use this information to help you out as a consumer? First off, on the used car market, understand that market value is market value. I don't care what a dealership's asking for a car. Market value is market value. Like, just keep repeating that to yourself as like a mantra until it really sinks in. And so if you're going to purchase a used car, yeah, look at what the dealer's asking for it, but then also take the VIN to that car, the miles to that car, and punch it into a third-party car buying website and see what they offer on that car, because what they offer is probably going to be somewhere around wholesale value, and it's surely going to be less than what that dealer is asking for the car. So then you can know roughly what the dealer paid for that car, so then you can make them an offer that's closer to what they paid for the car rather than that overinflated retail value they want, especially if it's above market value. And so don't play the games on that side of things. Now, when it comes to new cars, same deal. Do not play the games with new car dealerships. For 99.9999% of new cars, if you pay any amount over MSRP, you are going to lose money and you are not getting any value for that money. And something that you need to know is most dealers will never pay over MSRP for a used vehicle, even if that vehicle is going for over MSRP brand new, and if the used ones are also going for over what the original MSRP is, because dealerships know that the value could be there today, but it might not be there tomorrow. And so again, if you go and pay that price premium on a car because the dealers in your particular market have decided that that's what it should go for, just understand that you might as well just light that money on fire. It is gone. Now, obviously, there are some outliers where you can go and buy a vehicle, pay over MSRP for it, and then you can drive it for a while, and then you can sell it for over MSRP, or you could even trade it in for over MSRP. But those vehicles are far and few between. And so for the majority of cases, don't do it. Don't play the dealer games. And if dealers within your region have decided that they want to charge crazy prices for vehicles, just go and buy a vehicle outside of your region. It doesn't make sense, right? And I know that certain manufacturers have basically locked in certain regions where you can only buy within your region. In that case, go to another manufacturer. I just don't think that it's ever worth paying the price premium. I don't think that it's worth playing the game. I feel like that got a little ranty at the end, but I hope that that helps all of you out, whether you're looking at a used car or a new car. And the reason that I made this video is I've been getting asked by a lot of people if they should pay over MSRP for X vehicle. And well, my answer with this video is no. Like, it doesn't make sense, again, in 99.999% of cases to pay over MSRP for a vehicle. And frankly, the only reason that vehicle is being priced at over MSRP is because the dealers in your region are probably in cahoots with each other, and they've decided that that's what this vehicle should sell for, and they're all going to make sure that they're priced in the same amount. And really what you need to do as a consumer is just buy outside of your region, because what you need to understand is, despite the fact that vehicles can move from one place to another very easily, car markets are super localized. And so just because a vehicle is going for over MSRP in your market doesn't mean that it's going for over MSRP in every single market. There are certain vehicles that'll go for MSRP, over MSRP in certain markets, and they'll literally be selling for invoice in other markets that could be right next door. Like, it can be that big of a difference. So yeah, I feel like this video has turned into a lot of different lessons. But anyways, always do your research, always shop around, take your time. Don't pay over MSRP on 99.99999% of vehicles, because it simply just doesn't make sense unless you can flip it and make a quick profit. I don't see the point in doing it. Like those over MSRP addendums, that's just pure profit for the dealership. There's no value added to you as a customer. Just remember that. The manufacturer said the vehicle should be a certain price, and the dealership is saying that it should be another price. Like, it doesn't make sense. I'll see you guys.